Today, we're talking about the 5 best Warzone loadouts after the Season 4 update, and let's get straight into it. I'm starting with my favourite loadout of all 5, and that's the Volk, along with the ZRG Sniper. The Volk's, for me right now, is the best sniper support weapon, and here are the attachments. We've got the F8 for the accuracy and damage range, followed by the 428mm barrel. This is the biggest barrel of the 3, so it gives you plenty of range and bullet velocity. Then we've got the slate reflector, along with an adjustable stock for the initial firing recoil, which is probably the most important with the Volk when you're taking on longer range gunfights. For the perks, we have Perfectionist for some more recoil control, and On Hand for that ADS speed and equipment dexterity. Then for the rear grip, we've gone Stippled for more recoil control. For the magazine, I've actually gone for the 45 round mag. I know people like the 60 round for when you're playing trios and quads, but for me the 45 round is actually fantastic because of that fire rate, ADS speed, and extra recoil control. It really makes it a true sniper support weapon where you can take on enemies at pretty much any distance. For the ammunition, this is very much a personal choice. I actually have frangible on to inflict a wounding effect, which basically delays the healing of enemies. That's usually because I play quads on Caldera, and with just the 45 round mag, you often have to slow things down a bit for your enemies. For others though, I would recommend subsonic, just to ensure you don't have a minimap ping, because of course we're not running a silencer with this loadout, or you could run the usual lengthened for extra bullet velocity. Finally, we have hand stop as the underbarrel to improve our recoil control even further. Like I said, I really like partnering this with the ZRG Sniper, and on that sniper I have the sound moderator, so that obviously has sound suppression, increases your bullet velocity and aiming down sight speed. Then for the barrel, we have the 43-inch combat recon, which improves our bullet velocity. I've also got a laser on this to improve our ADS time even more. Then for the magazine, we have the 5 round, just to improve our ammo capacity without damaging our ADS time anymore. Finally, for rear grip, we've gone with the jungle grip, again to improve our aiming down sight time and our flinch resistance. Altogether, this makes the ZRG have a very good aiming down sight time, and of course you already know it hits insanely hard, so that bit's already covered. Next up, we have another sniper and sniper support class, and this time it's with the Cooper Carbine and 3-line sniper. For the Cooper Carbine, I've gone with the F8 stabilizer once more, improving our accuracy and damage range. For the barrel, I've got the 22-inch, the largest barrel you can have, which improves damage range and fire rate. For the optic, that's of course up to you, but I've got the 2.5 times magnification. For the stock, I've actually removed it completely, so we have a better aiming down sight time, along with movement speed and sprint to fire speed, because of course we want it to act as an SMG in certain scenarios. For perks, I've gone tight grip for more accuracy and recoil control, followed by fully loaded. For rear grip, I've got the rubber grip, which improves our vertical recoil control and flinch resistance. Magazine, no surprises here, we've got the 60 round drum, followed by lengthened for that bullet velocity. Finally, for the underbarrel, I've got the hand stop on to improve our vertical and horizontal recoil control. For the 3-line sniper, much like the ZRG, I've got a big focus on improving our aiming down sight speed. For the muzzle, I've got the Mercury silencer, of course silences the weapon, as well as improves bullet velocity. For the barrel, we've got the Empress 514mm. This isn't necessarily the biggest barrel, but does improve our ADS speed and bullet velocity. For the optic, I've got the 3.5 times rifle scope. For the stock, I've got the Zac Custom, which improves the ADS time. Perks, I've got silent focus for that aiming stability improvement. Perk 2, again, more ADS time and equipment dexterity with On Hand. For the rear grip, we've got the fabric, again, for the aiming down sight speed. For the magazine, I've just got the 5 rounds. Ammunition lengthened for that bullet velocity. Then finally, the underbarrel, I've actually got the flashlight to improve the enemy nameplate range. I actually quite like this on Caldera because even though they have reduced back the amount of vegetation on the map, it can sometimes be still hard to see people. Okay, so now moving on from the sniper and sniper support meta, I've got a Modern Warfare shotgun followed by the KG40. So the shotgun itself is the VLK, and on it we've got the Forge Tac Marauder, which improves sound suppression, damage range, range, tighter pellet spread. For the barrel, we've got Warlord, improving the damage range and even tighter pellet spread, followed by the 5MW laser, improving our hipfire accuracy and sprint to fire speed. Accompanying that, we've got some Dragon Breath, adding a little bit of burn damage. And then lastly, I've actually got Sleight of Hand on for reload quickness because it does only have 8 in the magazine. Now we're on to the KG40, which is arguably the big long-range meta right now. And on it, I've got the G28 compensator, helping us out with some flinch resistance and vertical recoil control. For the barrel, I've got the 720 shrouded, giving us bullet velocity, flinch resistance, and more recoil control. For the optic, I've got the 2.5 times magnification, but that's up to you. For the stock, we've got the Krausnik 12B, giving us more accuracy, flinch resistance, recoil control. You can kind of see the build we're going here. It's purely for recoil control for that longer distance beaming. Perk, tighter grip, accuracy, and recoil control during sustained fire. Fully loaded so we don't get caught out with ammunition. Polymer grip we've got for flinch resistance, and you guessed it, accuracy and recoil control. Magazine, we've got the 60 round drum. This does ruin the ADS time a little bit, but on these long range weapons, especially on Caldera if you're playing trios or quads, 60 rounds comes in handy. Ammunition, no surprise here, we've got lengthened for bullet velocity, followed by the skeletal, just to improve that ADS time just that little bit more. This weapon absolutely beams, it hardly moves, it's really easy to use, and you're gonna love it. Moving on though, we've got the NZ supported by the Marco-5. Now of course, before the Season 4 midway update, the NZ was basically the only AR you should be using. Now although it's not the only weapon you should be using for the meta, it's still right up there and competing with the others. So if you're not sick of using this weapon just yet, I recommend these attachments, and I'm not going to go into too much detail because I'm sure you've been running them a lot already. But it is a pretty standard setup. We're trying to control recoil whilst improving our damage range and bullet velocity. Now accompanying that, like I said, is the Marco-5. So on this, we've got the recoil booster for the fire rate. Then I run the 342mm barrel, which improves the accuracy and makes it more controllable, gives it good bullet velocity, and improves flinch resistance. For the optic, I've got slate reflector. For the stock, I've got the Emerito FR, improving our initial firing recoil, recoil recovery, aiming down sight speed, and movement speed. For perks, I've got Frenzy, giving us health regeneration after every kill, followed by Quick for the perk 2, improving our sprint speed. For the rear grip, I've got Taped Grip, which improves our aiming stability and movement speed even more. With that, I've got the 64 round drum and subsonic ammunition to keep us off that minimap. Lastly, I've got the skeletal to improve our movement speed even more and aiming down sight speed. Now the good thing about this build is you don't necessarily have to have the weapon max rank. I've only got it level 49 and I've got all of the attachments I need. Okay, now lastly, we've got the Armaguerra supported by the Kilo. I know a lot of people, including myself, were very excited when the Season 4 mid-updates came out because it seemed some of our absolute favorites back from Modern Warfare were now useful again, and that is absolutely the case with the Kilo. For this, I've gone for the absolute classic setup, monolithic suppressor, Singard arms, 19.8-inch barrel, VLK 3x optic, 50 round mags, and commando foregrip. You know what you're getting with this weapon: high fire rate, easy recoil to control, and all in all, an absolute beamer. With it though, I'm running the Armaguerra, and again, you don't have to have this max level to use. We start off with the recoil booster, improving our fire rate. We've got the 550mm barrel, improving bullet velocity, flinch resistance, and recoil control. Slate reflector for the optic. We've got the TA skeletal stock for that initial firing recoil, aiming down sight speed, and some aim walking steadiness and movement speed as well. For perks, I've gone for hard scope, improving our recoil control, followed by quick, improving our sprint speed. For rear grip, I've got the fabric for that sprint to fire speed and ADS speed, accompanied by the 60 round mags and lengthened for bullet velocity. And then finally the Mark 6 skeletal for the underbarrel, improving movement speed and once again aiming down sight speed. But if the recoil seems a bit shaky to you, just pop on the hand stop. Of course, with all of these class setups, weapons, and loadouts, you can mix and match for your taste, or if you want to add a bit of ghost or high alert on as your perk too.